Hello and welcome to the Many Hats Podcast, where we explore the fascinating journeys of entrepreneurs and leaders who have donned multiple hats in their respective fields. Join your host, Stuart Forsyth, along with special guests, as they delve into the stories and insights of individuals who possess a unique blend of talents and expertise, making them true multidisciplinarians. Now, let's dive into today's episode.
So, welcome back to my podcast. This is called the Many Hats Podcast. My name is Stuart Forsyth, and I just get people that I know round to the studio and just to talk all things business. This is season 2 of the podcast, which I'm really excited about to kick off again and to start back up. Season 1 was great. Loved getting to chat to people who are just good at what they do. And this, as I said, this style of podcast really suits me because I get to listen lots rather than talk lots. I'm not a big talker. So I get to hear lots, and really it's just a good bit of free advice for me, if more than anything else. So season 2 kicks off today. Dead excited to be welcoming Sean McIlroy. Hi, mate.
Doing?
Are you good?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
He is absolutely dreading this, man. He was asking me earlier, did I talk to the camera? Did I talk to you?
It could be you. Is that right?
You could have a podcast of you just talking to the camera the whole time. So thanks for coming, mate.
You're welcome.
You've been personal training me for a couple of months.
Yes.
Feeling good for it. Feeling really good for it. And I need to get started back up again. Christmas took a bit of a dip there, which isn't good at all. But yeah, I'm glad. I've been asking you for quite a while to come onto this podcast, and you're finally here. You were getting a wee cheeky haircut before you came, so
just squeeze that in.
He was 20 minutes late, by the way.
That was the barber's fault.
Turkish barber, did you say?
Yeah.
See, that's the problem.
No, he's everybody thinks he's Turkish, but he's from Kurdistan, I think.
I think you were going to say like Saltcoats. He's actually for Saltcoats. Oh well. But you're here, so it's good. I want to talk lots about your business,
Okay.
And hear about your journey, about where you've been, where you are, and where you're going with your business as well. And just gleaning as much information as I can for you.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Perfect.
Tell me about you and your business. What do you do?
So I'm Sean McIlroy, and I run a personal training warehouse, I would call it.
A warehouse. I would testify to that. Like getting some muscle ups now, and you get a wee drip of water coming in.
Teardrop on the eye.
Aye. So you've been, but you weren't there originally. You were round the corner, but in the same sort of industrial estate. Is that right?
In Scotland, I was based in Irvine for a short period, using one of my dad's many halls.
Right.
And then I moved over to the Blacklands Kilwinning. For 5 years I was at the front, and then I've moved up the back to a bigger space for the last year and a half.
And so how long have you actually been doing that then? Like in terms of personal training, how long has that been your thing?
I think I've been training, personal training 14, 15 years now.
Is that how long it's been?
Yeah.
Mate, we're getting on. 14, 15 year.
Yeah.
Has it always been in Scotland? You just said Scotland there.
So at 22 I moved to Australia, and I just finished uni doing a health science degree, and one of the teams was saying, how do you fancy working in a clinical Pilates studio? So
Right.
we'll pay you this and they'll pay you that. And I was like, yeah, why not?
Right.
So I just kind of fell into it, to be honest. It wasn't really my plan.
Right. What was the plan?
I was going out there to play football, but I guess you need to, because it's like part-time, you've got to work as well. So I don't know. Initially I planned on maybe working in the hospitals or something, a health promotion officer or something like that.
All right.
But there was no avenues into that, and I felt like overseas was the best way.
How many years were you in Australia?
7.5.
All right. It's quite a bit of
Yeah.
time. Played football the whole time?
Played football the whole time.
Right. And you had quite a good football career.
No bad.
Tell me about it.
So, as an adult, I I actually started in Irvine Vicks in the adult.
Did you?
Same as your son.
My two sons, my two kids are with the Vicks
Yeah.
now. Big shout out to Irvine Vicks, 2015s and 2012s. So you started with the Vicks, right?
So I played with the Vicks for 1 year, moved to Neilston Juniors in the Premier League. Then I moved to Auchinleck for 2 years. Then moved to Australia for 7. Back to Auchinleck for 2 years.
Big things at Auchinleck.
To Beath for 1 year. Then Glenafton, Irvine Meadow, the rivals of Irvine
Meta.
Vicks.
To the Vicks to the
I never
Meta.
done too great at the Meta, to be fair. Maybe it was my loyalties to the... Nah, I'm joking.
Did you get picked? That's the best. If they knew they
No,
came,
not really. That was the problem.
he's came for the Vicks. We'll not pick him.
Then I get injured, and it was an easy call when you're not really playing much and you're an injury. It's easy to say that's enough.
Yeah, aye. I was saying that since I was 14. I'm injured. I
took
can't
the
play. I saw. So you played football, and you were a big deal. Tell me about.
Not so sure about that.
Well, I'm hearing you're like a hero at the Talbot.
There's many heroes at Auchinleck. I scored a few
This
goals
is his
for
media
them.
training. See when they train the media, like the players and what to say in front of the media. This is all this coming in. Don't listen. It's just this, mate. Just blow your own whistle.
At Auchinleck, although I won a few Scottish Cups, there's people with double the amount of me. That's how you're known as big a hero.
Well, not many people can say they won the Scottish Cup though.
Yeah, it's nice. It's always something I'll remember, and I love the people up that way.
Great.
It's nice to go back and see everybody. It's all the same faces. Nice support.
Tell me that story you told me about when you were in at the bar.
I remember it.
Tell me this story.
So, when I came back from Australia, I went to the Auchinleck game. I'm not sure who they were playing, but I think they won 5-0. And then I went in the area where they have a wee drink. And Henry, who's in the committee at Auchinleck, he's been there for years. He gave me a glass and he goes, there's the glass your last drank from when you were here. And I was like, really?
That's a hell of a
I know,
gesture.
that was really nice. But it's a special place like that. They remember like small details, like things. He even spoke to me about a penalty that I scored, and he was telling me he wasn't sure if I was going to make it there, and I told him I actually scuffed it up the middle by mistake.
Like all good strikers do.
Aye, but I remember the goals, but I wasn't expecting him to remember that.
That's cool.
Aye, but it's nice that way, and they're the wee things that matter to you as a footballer. People remembering small details, personal details
Cool.
about you.
That's cool. So then you kind of stumbled into setting up your own business as a personal trainer.
Yeah.
So my first kind of question for you is that what inspired you to start that then, to go down that road? I mean, you've been at it 14, 15 years now, and you're good at what you do, mate. I'll give you that. I really enjoy my personal training sessions with you, and you obviously know your stuff. You're well invested into, you're not just getting somebody on a treadmill and telling them to run for an hour. So what inspired you to kind of get into this line of work and to do what you do?
Well, as I said, in Australia, it came about with the football. You got the job on the side, and then I ended up there for 3 years, and then I went on my own. Probably financially was the reason I went myself, because I could earn better money without paying the gym as much. I think they were taking over half my money at first, so that was a big contributor.
Wow.
And then when I came back, that was all I knew really. I'd done it for the last 7 years. And I actually asked about locally, instead of doing it myself, if people were looking for people, but nobody seemed to be looking for a trainer. I don't know if they never liked me or all they didn't want a trainer. But I went to a few places and it just didn't seem to work. And then my dad had a hall that was sitting round the back of the Kings.
Right.
And it was lying empty. And he says, you can run classes there. He even offered me a job as it wasn't the bouncer, as in the clubhouse, but it was I think I was the front of house, and I was like, nah, it's not for me.
Right.
So I wanted to stay in fitness, and I had faith that it would. Although a lot of people told me it wouldn't work, actually.
Right.
And my family especially, they didn't think it was that big here.
Right.
So I started wee classes there, and it was all my family that was coming. My mum, my sister, my niece. It was nice to have that support initially.
I was going to say, did they pay you though, or was it just like in kind?
I think they paid actually, and it was to help out. But I've not seen them since.
But that's but you need to be quite entrepreneurial to be in that mindset of I'm going to do it that way, because it would be quite easy, I suppose, to just give up.
Yeah.
And go, oh, well, this is clearly no for me, but you've obviously pushed on to do your own thing and to keep at it.
Yeah, I think if anybody knows my dad, he's probably had about 100 different businesses, so I probably get that side from him.
The bit of Del Boy, is he?
The real life Del Boy trotter. He's bringing his book out soon. I'm joking.
Cool. And so you've kind of then moved about some premises as well, and now you've landed. You're in Kilwinning.
Yeah.
And you've amassed quite a lot of equipment, clients as well, regular clients. So what does your kind of day to day look like in the life of a personal trainer?
From getting up, or just when I arrive there?
When do you get up?
I'm not your traditional personal trainer, early starter. That's like Debbie, who I work with. She's the early riser of the gym.
Aye.
Whereas I get slagged for when I arrive. Even if it's a 10 o'clock, that's late.
Is that right?
And that's my early start.
That's an early. That's ideal, 10 o'clock.
But I come down from Glasgow, so I try to miss that rush hour. Well, that's my excuse anyway for the long line.
So what does the day look like then?
Day, obviously I drive down from Glasgow, so it maybe takes me 45 minutes to an hour. I go in, turn the lights on, get set up. Everything's in place. Well, it should be from the night before. Usually we don't leave it too much out of sorts. We always put things back, predominantly. And then the client will come in, do their warm-up, do their session 45 or an hour. And then it's on to the next client. It's maybe like you'll get between 5 to 10 clients a day usually.
Right. Is that quite intense? It's quite intense because client 1 and client 5, for you, is that, how different is that? Or do you need to try and keep a level of consistency in your approach?
I think you've just got to make sure you've got the energy in you to motivate and to guide them through the session. You're not always going to be in your A game every day, but you've just got to keep a certain level of like quality there and make sure they're doing the right things. Like I've got a very wide variety of client base. I've got people over like around 70 years old. I've got people with like life-threatening illnesses, and then I've got youngsters who are athletes. Right. Then I've got athletes like yourself.
True athletes.
No, but it's a very wide variety. I train the local priest. I've got
Do you?
Yeah. And then I've just got such a wide variety of client, but I like that because it keeps you on the ball, and 1 minute you're pushing for 6-packs and biceps, and then next you're trying to keep somebody healthy and keep them here.
Yeah.
So sometimes it can be serious, and I think everybody associates it with like getting a belly at Christmas and getting fitter, but there's sometimes a lot more seriousness to it. And sometimes I feel that's why the fitness industry, it's good that there's access to it, but I feel like they need to be maybe more careful especially because what you're dealing with at times.
Right. So what then gives you job satisfaction?
I think it's helping people, to be honest. And I think it's so rewarding when you help somebody like that. See, somebody who maybe can't walk properly or got a severe injury or illness, and you see them. Like I've had a woman who come in with a walker, and then all of a sudden, months later, she's just walking on her own.
Right.
And other people's noticed it and lost a lot of weight, and it's really nice that.
Aye.
I think it's seeing people like happy or helping them in their life. it's definitely more rewarding that way than just helping somebody. Although it's great seeing somebody ripped, and it's definitely more rewarding the other way, I think.
Right, that's interesting. The so to get into the crux of it, I mean, this podcast is about business, running a business. So you're not just a personal trainer. What are the many hats that you need to wear to make your business successful in what you do?
Well, it's not for the faint-hearted for a start. I think that a lot of people maybe see like you after 14, 15 years doing what you do, and they think, I fancy a bit of that. You're just floating about there drinking a coffee.
Next to the heater.
Next to the heater. What a life. I don't know. You've got to be everything, to be honest. You've got to be the social media man, the cleaner, although people would argue about that, especially Debbie.
Debbie. Shout out to Debbie. She does the most of
it. You've got to do your books. You've got to make sure everybody's paid. You've got to make sure they're booked in. Whether somebody's double booked or you've took them out of their slot, which a few folk will say I never during the Christmas holidays. One person in particular showed up.
No way.
When I was at the Rangers Celtic game.
Is that right? You'll notice he said Rangers Celtic. And so, what's? I mean, there's parts of that then, because when you're wearing many hats, running a business, there'll be parts of it that you enjoy and parts of it you hate. So, what are they?
I don't know. I quite enjoy the responsibility, although it's hard. Like I like that it's my place, and that sometimes it can be frustrating when maybe you're in a rush and you've got to do everything, like tidy up and put everything away. But I think the rewards outweigh that. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure in particular. I don't have anything to pinpoint it but I just I think I'm better with responsibility.
Okay.
And I think I understand myself best, so I know when I work best. Whereas maybe an employee would say, right, you're running the 6 o'clock class, 6 a.m, and I'm like,
no,
I'm
thanks.
a different person at that time. So
yeah.
Although people ask for the times, they probably wouldn't like me at that time.
It'll be interesting to see. Right, so what does balance look like in your life then? Because if you're running a business, if you are responsible for everything, how do you balance that up with your personal life? Because I know for me, I mean, running Limelight, it's just taking over my life in some respects, because you've got clients that need work done, you've got deadlines, you've got stuff that runs over, you get last minute jobs that come in, and it just, in some respects, it takes over your life. So I know what kind of systems and habits that I've got in place to keep that balance. But what's yours? I mean, you're obviously married. You've got a baby Sean on the way. We're allowed to say that.
Yeah.
It's out in the socials, isn't it? I was nearly ready to edit that part. So what is it that you need to have in place that helps you to separate work and life?
I don't know. I think maybe it's probably something I'm still striving for, to be honest. And maybe being a dad is something that is going to force me more so to find it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's maybe for us, we do in-person training, plus we also do online coaching. So maybe it's a balance between that, where you can spend a lot more time at home and do your work rather than having to come down to the gym. I probably haven't found the balance. Like, it does take over your life, like running the business.
Mm-hmm.
And then especially after Christmas, when everybody's wanting to set up and you're making plans and programs and you're just on your laptop, and it's hard. It's probably, you'll know best, we're speaking to a lot of the business owners, everybody's probably still searching for their balance. I don't know if I'm the best person to tell you about balance.
I know
standing on one leg, actually, that's what
mobility, and that's what keeps it. I think for me, it's like my phone takes over my life. See, because there's so much that's incorporated into that. Like emails and comms, communications with clients. Like I said, managing social media. It's almost as if it's all these spinning plates that need to keep going. And if I put any one of them down, something's going to suffer. But I've kind of started this rule where 9:30, I put my phone on do not disturb mode. So it's a case of if you're trying to get a hold of me after 9:30, right through till 8 o'clock the following morning, you'll not get me. It's as simple as that, because that's my time. That's for me. It took me a long time to get into that mentality, because I was so obsessed with, I've still got this to do, I need to follow up with that client, and to the point where I was like, that client can wait until the morning, and I can get back to them. But the danger is it goes the opposite way, and I'm really bad sometimes for my comms, because I'm so busy doing other things. So client gets in touch and I'm taking like 2 days to get back to them.
I always think to myself, when maybe if I get to a stage where I'm really successful, it would be nice to have people working for you and dealing with. But it's always keeping that quality that you feel that maybe you provide, that finding it in others to pass through the knowledge to the people inquiring, or even if it was something like setting calories and that, it's whether it's just to make sure they know the formulas to set people that. I feel like I work maybe till 8 at night sometimes, then I maybe travel an hour, 9 o'clock. So if I stopped at 9, a lot of that time I get back to my online clients about what they've had to eat and how their trainings went. And
Right.
Alana would agree with you about putting the phone down. She'll say, she would look at that and go, that's what you should be doing, putting your phone. But
There you go, Alana. I'm on your side. Get them to out.
But I also think you've got to make sure you're getting the income in, and but as you say, it's finding that balance, which I admittedly say I've probably not found it yet.
Which is fair enough. What do you enjoy the most about your job? Like, if you could change anything from where you've been, where you are, and where you plan to go with the business, like, what is it you enjoy the most about it, and what would you change, if anything?
I like being involved in fitness. Like, I would always have been loved to be a professional footballer, and then after that, it's trying to find something that's maybe similar, which there's not many things out there. So I went to like fitness college, and it's hard trying to find a job in sports, but I feel I've found something as close as possible. And it, to be honest, it doesn't feel like work to me, because it's like I'm very social naturally. So I just talk to people all day, and then I just pass on the knowledge, ask them about their day. But I make sure they do the work though.
Yes, you do. I can attest to that. I enjoy when you start chatting to me during my personal training sessions, and I'm like, thank God, I needed a minute there.
But that's my style, and I that's just me naturally. So it doesn't. I don't need to put on that work mode. I'm just me.
That's you.
And that's like where you say like what makes you in business mode or normal mode. I'm probably the same person out with. So maybe share too much with business people, and then too much about home with them. But like vice versa. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's a good quality to have, though, because there's an authenticity about that as well. That, I mean, I know personally when I turn up, I'm not going to get BS'd. It's just you are who you are, and I'll get through my session as I'm meant to get through it, and we'll have a chat. But there's that authenticity about it as well that I think is good. It's so easy to be a different person and work, and I can probably attest to that as well, that I've been that sometimes, that I've been in fake it till you make it mode, where somebody phones you up, hello, can I speak to the accounts department? Yeah, wait, I'll pass you over. Hello, accounts department. And you're kind of like that different person.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that I'm trying to adopt as well, is making sure that my clients get me as I am. And I suppose that they are getting all of me, and not just part of me, or or a fakeness about me. Like, I'm hoping that there's an authenticity about me in the way that I conduct my work as well. You know.
Yeah, I can't help but be that person. That's just me naturally. Like, maybe an oversharer at times. Like, so if I'm having a bad day, the clients will find out about it as well. But
I thought you were going to say the clients are having a bad day. If I'm having a bad day, the clients having a bad day.
I wouldn't take it out on them with their workout. Yeah. Right, go 50 burpees. You're being cheeky. You're answered back there.
Fair enough. Okay, I want to just one more kind of main. It's probably quite a broad question, but as a business podcast, you know, I'm hoping that people who are listening to this are listening to glean some wee kind of nuggets of advice and stuff like that. So, what would your advice be? Like, if somebody was considering starting a business, maybe not necessarily in personal training or in fitness or sport, but if they're thinking about starting a business, you know, what are some of the lessons that you've learned that have got you to where you are, and what kind of advice would you give?
I think if you're starting a business, I don't think you can start it up for money. But I think that's what a lot of people do. So I think you've got to genuinely care, because there's too much hassle if you don't care enough about it. So if you're just in there for the money, you're probably adding up the hours. You're like, I'm on less than the minimum wage here. And if you genuinely care and love what you do, then you're much more likely to be successful in it. I think if you're forcing the issue because you want to be, or you want a certain amount of money, it's more likely to fail. And I think even in fitness, I feel like if you are a genuine person and you actually show genuine care for that person, and even after your session, rather than saying, right, see you later, get out the door, your time's up, and then stop talking to them. Yeah. If you're just your normal self, you're probably more likely to do better. Because a lot of it's actually who you are in training, I think. There's loads of trainers out there and all different avenues and different opinions, but a lot of it's chosen on who you are. You've got to get along with the person, and if you can get along with them, you're more likely to do better in it.
Great.
But I do believe that thing I've seen it before, like, or beating the client out the door, running past them. Right, see you later. You lock the doors.
You lock the doors. Imagine. I think I suppose I would have that kind of similar approach myself. I just put up a post this morning on my socials, or on the Limelight social, sorry, and it was just off of an article that I read, and it was interesting because, I don't know if you'll agree with this or not. The article said that your customers or your clients don't care about you or your product or your service. They care about the outcome that you can help them bring, and I think it takes a bit of thick skin to recognise that and to get on board with that, because I suppose in your line of business, that is to an extent what you need to deliver. You're helping deliver an outcome for a client. You know, it might be the six pack, or it might be better mobility. In our case, it's a case of, you know, a better marketing strategy or good content that we're creating for them, and you know, they're less interested about me, you know, and my brand that I've created, and you know, they're more interested in the outcome that I can help bring for them.
I think in your line that's true. No offence.
No,
but I don't think in mine, actually, because you could almost do yours behind the scenes,
right?
So they don't know you as well. But I think in mine you've almost got to like get to know the person.
That's why I bring it up.
You spend so much. You're too close to someone. I feel like for me that doesn't work. I actually don't like if I don't get along with someone. I don't have it very often, but I feel I need to get along with someone, because I'm not interested in sitting in silence and going 10 of them, go get it done. I don't like you, but I'll get your results. Come on. I think I need to like people, and I think that was the same in football for me. So there's a good quote for it. I always thought I would like to be the coach that I would have needed. So even when I train people, I try to be what I would have wanted. And if I was a football manager, maybe in the future, I would like to be the coach that I required. Yeah, like what I responded to. I never responded well to a ranter and raver.
No?
No. Maybe like the first game when they're like, come on. And you're like, right. But if it was every single game, you're like, oh, no, again.
Did you need an arm round the shoulder sort of approach?
I think I needed a mixture, but some folk would say that. But I just liked a nice guy, actually, as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say nice woman because there was no...
There was no...
I liked a nice guy and I wanted to do better for him when I liked him. If I didn't like him, I felt like, not that I was going to kick it in my own net or anything, but I wanted to do well for the good guy rather than somebody shouting.
Did you watch the Alec Ferguson documentary that's on the BBC now?
I've not watched that recent one. I watched the one before.
The one that's just out. It was very similar to what you just said. It was there was obviously they were interviewing the likes of Gary Neville and all that, and they said something very similar. Like they just wanted to play for him, you know. Although he was obviously that type of person sometimes, but he was also the other guy, like you're saying, you know, the nice guy that you just wanted to play for. And
that's what I had, that relationship with the Auchinleck manager. You just wanted to do well for him.
Aye.
You just had that thing about him, Tommy, where like you just wanted to give him your best.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I feel like someone's shouting at you, sometimes you can get offended by it at times, and don't get me wrong, you'll still try your best, but I think there's just gives that wee extra 10% subconsciously maybe.
Aye.
If you like the person.
Aye.
And I hope that's the same in training. You've got to try different tactics in training. Some people ask me to call them fat and all this, like, and that's not my style. I just can't bring myself to do it, and I'm like, you're not the right person for that. I can't change my style.
Yeah.
I much prefer like, come on, please do it. Do it for me. In fact, do it for you.
Aye. And I've been on the end of it, by the way, physically lifting me up. Come on, one more pull up. Getting lifted by the hips. Thanks, Sean. Cool, mate. Listen, thanks very much. It's good to get a bit of insight to what you do, and it's quite. I didn't realise it was nearly 15 years. That's quite a long time.
Since
so
I was 22.
That's quite cool. I've only been self-employed, running a business, an agency for I think it's coming up in 4 years now. So it's still very new to me. A lot of respects. Just did my tax bill the other day, man. The tax man. Can't stand him.
Robbed you.
Absolutely robbed me, man.
He's no nice. I wouldn't take him on in the
gym. He'd be the kind of guy you'd be like, come on. So it's all still, I'm still learning so much in business, so I like to hear what other people are doing and how they've got there. So I appreciate your time.
No, you're welcome.
And
good.
All the best. I'll be seeing you in the next week or so for a PT session.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I'll be there. I assure you I'll be there. Once my tax bill's paid. Thanks for tuning in to the Many Hats podcast. Whatever platform that you're listening or watching this on, whether it's Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, whatever, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you don't subscribe, nobody hears it, nobody listens to it, nobody watches it, and we want to get more out there for more people to be hearing. So, click the subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next episode. See ya.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Many Hats podcast. Remember to hit subscribe to be notified of all new episodes. For any questions or topic ideas, you can reach Stuart on Instagram at many_hats_podcast. We'll see you next time.